Hello everyone and welcome back to STW Sports, and today I'm going to be going over every Premier League club's greatest ever Premier League goal, going in alphabetical order, starting off with Arsenal, Thierry Henry versus Manchester United, October 1st, 2000. Yeah, what a brilliant goal this was by Thierry Henry. There was candidates for Arsenal though. Dennis Bergkamp's against Newcastle in 2002 certainly runs it close. I'm going to have to go with this one though. Arsenal beating Manchester United 1-0 in the year 2000. Man United at this point were dominating. They were about to win their third Premier League title in a row. Arsenal faced them at Highbury in what used to be one of the biggest clashes in Europe at the time. It was absolutely huge. Arsenal-Manchester United back here. Henry went and scored one of the great goals where he just flicks it up and volleys it into the... It's just an amazing goal. He flicks it up, volleys it into the corner. It's absolutely unsavable. It flies over his French colleague's Fabien Barthez's head. Brilliant goal. Arsenal win the game 1-0. Great. Man United still went on to win the league, but yeah, great from Henry and a win for Arsenal. Aston Villa, Daly and Atkinson versus Wimbledon, October 3rd, 1992. Sticking with early October, and now we're at Aston Villa's first ever Premier League season. Well, the first ever Premier League season in general, in fact. The 92-93 season, Aston Villa travelled to Wimbledon, and Daly and Atkinson scores one of the greatest solo goals you'll ever likely to see. A great mazy run where he avoids challenges, and then he chips the ball past the goalkeeper with ease. An absolutely brilliant goal from Daly and Atkinson. Villa win the match 3-2, and yeah, it's a genius goal from Atkinson, one of the best. And Aston Villa have been in the Premier League a lot of the years, but I can't think of a goal better than this. They've scored some good ones here and there, but yeah, I can't think of a better goal than this. This is, for me, Villa's greatest ever Premier League goal. Brighton and Hove Albion, Alireza Jahanbakhsh versus Chelsea, January 1st, 2020. Yeah, Jahanbakhsh's only goal, I believe, for Brighton, and it was an amazing one. Brighton faced Chelsea on New Year's Day, and yeah, Brighton drew the game 1-1, and Jahanbakhsh scores an amazing overhead kick to earn them a point. Chelsea were pretty much comfortably 1-0 up in this game. They weren't in any danger of letting the lead go, and Jahanbakhsh comes up with an absolutely brilliant overhead kick that beats Kepa into the corner. Just one of them goals, one of them freak goals that, you know, he just connected perfectly with it. And yeah, Brighton earned themselves a point, and Chelsea dropped some valuable points at the Amex as well. But what a result this was, though, what a great goal this was by Jahanbakhsh. And not a bad result for Brighton either, but yeah, great goal. Burnley, Robbie Blake versus Manchester United, August 19th, 2009. Yeah, Burnley's first ever season in the Premier League was the 9-10 season, and Robbie Blake scored one of the greatest goals in the club's history. Just one of them goals. He'll never hit a ball better in his life. And yeah, I mean, Burnley are facing Manchester United, who've just won the Premier League 3 times in a row. Burnley are newly promoted. Everyone's expecting Burnley are going to be walked over by Manchester United turf more, but no, Burnley win the game 1-0. Robbie Blake scores the goal of his life, an absolutely brilliant strike. And yeah, Burnley went on to win the game 1-0. Amazing stuff. Chelsea, Gus Poyet versus Sunderland, August 7th, 1999. Yeah, despite Chelsea's golden years being in the Chelsea's golden years being in the 21st century, I'm going with a goal in the 20th century, the last year of the 20th century. Gus Poyet's wonder strike versus Sunderland. Everything about this goal is absolute genius. The ball gets chipped through from Zola, and Gus Poyet runs onto it with a scissors kick. He executes perfectly, and it flies into the net. Chelsea win the match 4-0 on the opening day of the season. Just genius. Absolutely brilliant goal. And Chelsea have scored some magnificent goals in the Premier League. There's no doubt about that. I don't think there's a better one than this. And this is before Chelsea were at their best as well. But genius. Absolutely brilliant goal. Just, yeah, I'm going to have to say this one. Still my favourite Chelsea goal by quite some way. Amazing. And Gus Poyet went on to manage Sunderland as well. Can't write it. Crystal Palace, Andros Townsend versus Manchester City, December 22nd, 2018. Yeah, going back to rather recently, not just under 2 years ago, in fact, Crystal Palace travelled to the Etihad Stadium, and no one gave Palace a chance, really, to be honest with you. Everyone was thinking Man City would comfortably win. However, Palace win the match 3-2 in what was a very big upset, one of the biggest upsets of the 18-19 season. Man City still went on to win the league, but they had a bump in the road at home to Palace, and Andros Townsend scored the goal of his life. Bernardo Silva heads the ball away from danger. Townsend's about 35 yards away from goal, but he hits a volley so well it just flies into the top corner. Edison doesn't even see an absolutely brilliant goal from Townsend. Like I say, he won't hit one better in his life. Palace went on to win the game 3-2. Absolutely brilliant strike from Townsend. 1-0, never forget. Everton, Phil Jagielka versus Liverpool, September 27th, 2014. Yeah, going relatively recently here, about 5 or 6 seasons ago, Everton travelled to Anfield. Liverpool are quite out of form, but as to Everton, Phil Jagielka, no danger, the ball's headed away. Last minute of the game, Jagielka hits a volley and it flies into the top corner past Simon Mignolet. One of the greatest strikes, for a centre-back has probably ever hit in their lives. But Jagielka, he could do this another 10 times and it would nowhere near go into the net. But an amazing strike. Everton earned a point at Anfield. And yeah, sadly for Everton, this was about as good as it really has gotten in the last 10 years or so. They haven't really had too much to shout about. They talk about this goal a lot. But yeah, still a great goal and yeah, brilliant stuff. And you see why it's talked about as well. Jagielka was a great player for Everton and this moment really ran that point home even more. Fulham, Pajkam Kasami versus Crystal Palace, October 21st, 2013. Yeah, I'm going with the year that Fulham got relegated, the 13-14 season. Fulham did go down quite convincingly, but one of the highlights of the season was a 4-1 win away at Crystal Palace. An amazing goal in that game scored by Pajkam Kasami. One of the great Premier League goals that doesn't get enough recognition in my opinion. This was an amazing strike from Kasami. The ball gets played up, he chests it down and he hits a perfect volley into the corner. It's an absolutely brilliant goal and for me one that doesn't really get the credit it deserves to this day. Fulham got relegated, Palace stayed up, but still, what a goal this was though from Kasami. And what was a pretty underwhelming Fulham career, this more than made up for it. Brilliant goal. Leeds United, Tony Yeboah versus Wimbledon, September 23rd, 1995. Yeah, you knew it was going to be a goal from Tony Yeboah, let's be honest. Tony Yeboah was just one of them players who could score great goals. He had some great goals in his time. The one against Liverpool was truly brilliant, but I'm going for the one against Wimbledon when he danced through the defence and then hits a volley in off the crossbar. It was absolutely brilliant from Yeboah. One of the greatest goals. And again, I had to go quite far back for Leeds, of course, because they were relegated in 2004, they only just came back up. But yeah, to get this goal in there was just brilliant stuff from Yeboah, and he was a great player anyway, so it's no surprise to see him in there. And everyone knew Tony Yeboah was going to have Leeds' greatest goal. He scored some quality goals. Leicester City, Jamie Vardy versus Liverpool, February 2nd, 2016. Of course, the year Leicester City won the Premier League, as we'd all know by now. In that season features one of the greatest goals of the season. Jamie Vardy versus Liverpool. Yep, the ball gets played upfield. Vardy does one of his typical runs forward. He just hits a volley where there was nothing on. There's nothing looks on. Vardy hits a volley and it just flies into the net. Absolutely brilliant goal. Leicester win the game 2-0 and go on to win the Premier League. Amazing stuff. Truly couldn't rise. But this goal from Vardy, though, really typified Leicester. It's just one of them great strikes that season. Mahrez up to Vardy goal. That's what the whole season was. But this one has something special about it. And yeah, what a goal. Liverpool, Luis Suarez versus Norwich City, April 28th, 2012. You're probably going to be asking which Luis Suarez goal against Norwich City. Luis Suarez scored what felt like every single week against Norwich City, sorry. I'm going with the one in 2012 at Carrow Road. Suarez gets the ball on the halfway line near enough and he sees John Ruddy off his line and he just hits an outrageous chip into the net. He scored about 3 or 4 world-class goals against Norwich City, to be fair to him. He just loved playing against them for some reason. But I'm going to go with the one in 2012, though. He's in a standing position. The ball's not even moving. He just chips it and it goes in. Suarez was a scary player on the pitch. He could do some amazing things when he was at Liverpool. This really typified that. Amazing stuff. And yeah, Luis Suarez had to be able to score Liverpool's greatest ever goals. He pretty much is up there for maybe their top 5. He's scored that many good ones. Manchester City, Vincent Kompany versus Leicester City, May 6th, 2019. Man City have scored some very good Premier League goals, don't get me wrong, but I'm going to have to go with this one. Number 1, because of the fact it was Vincent Kompany, and number 2, how unexpected it actually was for him to score this goal. Vincent Kompany, of all people, picks up the ball around about 30 yards out. Leicester players are probably happy to let him shoot. Kompany does shoot and the ball flies into the top corner. It's a genius goal from Kompany, and it's just one that, yeah, Man City fans will never forget. It pretty much won them the Premier League title, and Vincent Kompany retired afterwards as well. Amazing stuff. Just an absolutely brilliant goal. You have to go check it out for yourself to believe Vincent Kompany once scored a world-class goal. Amazing. Manchester United, Wayne Rooney versus Manchester City, February 11th, 2011. Yeah, most people knew this one was coming. Wayne Rooney, probably his greatest ever Premier League goal versus Man City. February 11, 2011, Man United win the game 2-1 and Rooney scores an absolutely amazing overhead kick. Nani chips the ball into him and Rooney, he just gets an outrageous height on it. It's just one of them goals you just have to admire. Simply brilliant. Man United win the game 2-1 and went on to win the Premier League title as well. But yeah, truly brilliant stuff. And Man United have scored some amazing Premier League goals. There's a lot that are right up there, but I'm going to have to go with this one from Rooney. It truly can't be beaten. Newcastle United, Papa Cisse versus Chelsea, May 2nd, 2012. I mean, this goal to this day is probably still my favourite ever Premier League goal because I don't know how he scored it. I still to this day do not know how Cisse managed to get this into the back of the net. An outrageous angle he shoots from and it just flies past Cech. And even Didier Drogba's on the touchline going, how has that gone in, basically? It's amazing from Cisse. And Cisse's career sadly went quite downhill after this, but still at Newcastle anyway. He never really did too much after this, but that half season that he alone really made up for that. Amazing goal this was. My favourite ever in the Premier League still. Amazing stuff. Chelsea went on to win the Champions League about 2 weeks later, so I'm sure they didn't care too much. Sheffield United, Phil Jagielka versus Middlesbrough, September 30th, 2006. Phil Jagielka appears in this list twice. Who would have thought I'd be saying that? So, the list of the greatest ever Premier League goals for a team, and Phil Jagielka is in 2 of them, a centre-back. Yeah, that kind of says a lot. But Phil Jagielka, though, this was Sheffield United's big win. They did go down this season anyway, and Middlesbrough stayed up, but still, a 2-1 win at home to Middlesbrough. Jagielka hits an amazing volley. It's an eventful season for Jagielka, this one. He also went in goal in this season as well against Arsenal in a match. But yeah, this goal was the one that took the headlines in this season. A truly brilliant strike from Jagielka. Gave Sheffield United a 2-1 win in the last minute. So yeah, brilliant stuff from him. And what a goal this was. Southampton, Matt Le Tissier versus Newcastle United, October 24th, 1993. Yeah, going back to the second ever Premier League season now, Matt Le Tissier, everyone knew Southampton's best ever goal was going to be Matt Le Tissier. He scored about 4 or 5 world-class goals in his career, and this was another one here. And amazing stuff. He chips the ball over about 4 players in this move as well. The guy's talent was unbelievable, Le Tissier. He had so much to him. It's amazing how he stayed at Southampton all his career, and this goal just proves that. Amazing stuff. Tottenham Hotspur, Son Heung-min versus Burnley, December 7th, 2019. I mean, for a team who've been in the Premier League every single year of its existence, you'd probably think Tottenham would have had a goal back in maybe the 90s or the noughties that would have been better, but I'm going to say Son versus Burnley is their best ever goal. They've scored some quality goals in their time, Tottenham, there's no doubt about that, but this one against Burnley from Son, oh my word, I mean, Burnley were terrible on this day. One of the rare games last season where Burnley, I mean, they've started this season terribly, but last season that was a rare occurrence. Against Tottenham, though, last year away, they were terrible. They lost the game 5-0, but Son scores. It was bad defending, but Son picks up the ball in his own box, runs the whole length of the pitch and slots past Pope. Unbelievable goal. Tottenham win the game 5-0. This is a goal Son will never forget. Absolutely unreal stuff from the Korean. West Bromwich Albion, Zoltan Gera versus Liverpool, August 18th, 2012. Yep, opening day of the season, Steve Clark's first game in charge of West Brom, and Brendan Rodgers' first game in charge of Liverpool, and West Bromwich Albion win the match 3-0, and Zoltan Gera scores an absolute world-class goal in this game. Liverpool are on top, dominating the game. You just wait for Liverpool to open the scoring. Zoltan Gera, the Hungarian, comes up with a brilliant volley. The ball gets headed away. Gera volleys it, top corner, amazing stuff. West Brom go on and win the game 3-0 just to make it better as well. Liverpool simply fell apart afterwards. But yeah, what a goal from Zoltan Gera this was, though. One he'll truly remember. And I'd still say this is West Brom's greatest ever Premier League goal. West Ham United, Andy Carroll versus Crystal Palace, January 14th, 2017. I mean, Andy Carroll and overhead kicks are two things you wouldn't think would go together, but this one, though, versus Palace in a 3-0 win at the London Stadium, oh my word, this was incredible. The ball gets chipped into Andy Carroll, and he just scores an outrageous overhead kick. It's an absolutely brilliant strike. One you'd not expect from Andy Carroll, put it that way. Another goal, honourable mention, goes to Paolo Di Canio, scissors kick versus Wimbledon. I just think this Carroll one edges it out, though, just because the way he hits it and the way it flies into the top corner. Amazing stuff. And yeah, I'd not be expecting to say Andy Carroll's got West Ham's greatest ever Premier League goal, but he has. Wolverhampton Wanderers, Nedad Milias versus Bolton Wanderers, December 5th, 2009. Wait, Wolves have a best ever Premier League goal and it's not Ruben Neves? You heard that right. Nedad Milias versus Bolton, December 2009. Wolves win the match 2-1. I'm going to go with Milias's goal. It was a brilliant strike from Milias. He hits it so well. It's one of them strikes on the left foot, right into the corner. Neves has scored some great Premier League goals, but his best ever Wolves goal was in the Championship versus Derby. So I'm going to have to give this one to Milias. I think this was a great goal. Wolves won the game 2-1 and stayed up as well. Brilliant stuff. But yeah, that is a wrap on my Premier League, every Premier League club's greatest ever Premier League goal. Please like, share, subscribe, and let me know in the comments below if you disagree with any of the goals and see which ones you said were the best. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.